If you're over the age of 50, you might not realize that you're sitting on one of the travel industry's best-kept secrets. You see, hotel chains and booking platforms offer serious discounts to older travelers, but they don't exactly go out of their way to tell you about it. In fact, many of these discounts are buried so deep in the booking process, you'd never find them unless you already knew they were there. And that's exactly what the hotel industry wants. They rely on you paying full price. They rely on you skipping over the fine print, because when you don't know to ask for a senior rate, they don't have to give it to you. But here's the truth. If you're 50 or older, you may be eligible for discounts of 10%, 20%, even 30% or more at hotels across the country and sometimes internationally too. And no, you don't always need to be an AARP member, a veteran, or a travel club junkie. Sometimes, all it takes is asking the right question at the right time or knowing where to click during the booking process. The kicker: most travelers over 50 never find out about this. They pay full price, they miss out, and the hotel quietly pockets the difference. Take Marriott, for example. Their senior discount is available for guests aged 62 and over. But if you don't select it when booking or even know to look for it, it won't be applied automatically. The booking engine doesn't say, "Hey, we noticed you might qualify for a lower rate." It just keeps moving, silently charging you full price unless you click the specific senior rate option under rate filters. It's there, but it's hidden, and they're counting on that. Hilton is another big name that offers senior rates, usually around 10% off, sometimes more, depending on location and season. But again, unless you select flexible rate and then manually switch it to senior discount, you'll never see it. It's not a pop-up, it's not in your face. You have to know it's an option. The same goes for Best Western, Wyndham, Radisson, and even upscale brands like Hyatt. Most of them offer some form of age-based rate reduction, usually starting around 50 or 55, and especially at 60 plus. But it's not automatic. You have to claim it, and get this, even if you've already booked a room. Many hotels will still honor the senior discount if you ask about it at check-in. You simply say, "Do you offer a senior rate?" Then flash a valid ID showing your age. That's it. No forms, no memberships, no awkward sign-up process. In many cases, they'll retroactively apply the discount on the spot. But here's the catch: they won't bring it up unless you do. The front desk staff are trained to process the reservation you already made. They're not going to volunteer a lower rate unless prompted, and they're certainly not incentivized to lose money on your stay. That's why so many older travelers leave money on the table. They're polite. They assume what they booked is the best rate. But behind the scenes, better options were there the whole time. Even independent hotels and smaller boutique chains often offer senior discounts. But with them, it's even trickier, because these hotels usually don't have big marketing departments or detailed rate breakdowns online. You often need to call directly. Yes, old squaw, you pick up the phone and say, "Do you offer a senior rate?" And more often than not, the answer is yes. They just don't advertise it on their website. They assume that if you're the kind of person looking for that discount, you'll ask. This entire setup is designed to benefit the hotel, the traveler. They give the appearance of offering discounts while making it just hard enough to access them that most people won't bother. They save face and still maximize profit. That's why knowing this matters. Because once you understand how the system works, you can start playing by your own rules. And once you start asking the right questions, you'll be shocked at how often you hear, "Yes, we do have a better rate for that." So if you're 50 or older and planning a trip, don't just book the first rate you see. Dig a little deeper. Look for the senior option under rate filters. Call the hotel directly. Ask at the front desk. These are not gimmicks. These are real, legitimate savings that are just waiting for you to claim them. You've earned them. You just have to reach out and take them. Now let's get into the next layer: the strategies that don't just get you discounts, but stack them. Because while age-based pricing is powerful on its own, most people over 50 have access to even more savings if they know where to look. And here's the kicker: these strategies aren't shady or complicated. They're not some obscure coupon code from a sketchy third-party site. These are verified, public, legitimate options that are just as valid as the hotel's own website. The only difference: most people never use them. Let's start with a little card that a lot of people over 50 carry around but don't really take advantage of. AARP. Now, love it or hate it, that membership unlocks a surprising number of travel perks, especially with hotels. For just a few bucks a year, you get access to exclusive AARP rates that knock 10, 15, even 20% off regular bookings. And no, we're not just talking about sketchy roadside motels. We're talking Hilton, Wyndham, Best Western, Radisson Comfort Suites, real name brand hotels in real cities you actually want to visit. These rates aren't always listed on public booking engines. Sometimes you need to go through the hotel's AARP landing page or use the AARP Travel Center, which is powered by Expedia, and yes, these bookings are legitimate. They come with all the same perks as direct bookings. But here's the thing: the hotel won't remind you to use them. They'll gladly let you pay full price, and you don't always need to be an AARP member to get treated like one. At check-in, many hotels won't ask for proof. Or if you say something as simple as "I'm eligible for the senior rate, do I need a membership to claim it?" they'll often honor it anyway. Why? Because it's easier for the front desk staff to apply the rate than to argue with you. They're trained to keep guests happy, and if you've got a smile and a valid ID, they'll usually work with you. Beyond that, there are travel websites designed specifically to help older travelers get better deals, but they're buried under the noise of the big booking platforms. TravelZoo, for example, has an entire category dedicated to senior deals. These are curated packages and hotel deals, often offering 30 to 50% off rack rates, bundled with perks like free breakfast, waived resort fees, or late checkout. But if you're not actively looking for senior or over 50 in the search bar, you'd never find them. Another secret weapon: booking direct and combining that with loyalty programs. Even if you've never stayed at a certain hotel before, you can sign up for their loyalty program for free and unlock better pricing immediately. Hotel chains like Hyatt, IHG, and Choice Hotels offer what they call member rates, which are almost always cheaper than Expedia or Booking.com. And when you combine that with a senior rate, you're double dipping. The system allows it. The hotel benefits by having you book direct. You benefit by stacking savings. And if you throw in an AARP membership or a flexible travel date, you can easily chop your hotel bill in half. And here's a little-known fact: retired professionals and alumni can often claim corporate rates even if they're no longer actively working. Let's say you used to work for a big corporation like IBM, or a public school system, or you're part of a university alumni association. Many hotel brands have ongoing agreements with those groups. So even if you haven't been on payroll in 10 years, you might still qualify for a lower rate. You just have to ask. It's a weird gray area most people don't think to explore. But again, it's not about scamming the system, it's about understanding how it really works. You're not just a customer, you're a demographic. The travel industry wants quiet, respectful, reliable, and usually traveling outside of spring break chaos. You represent off-season bookings, midweek stays, and repeat business. That's valuable. So they're willing to offer you a deal, as long as you don't know it's there. Now that you do, the game changes. And this is just the beginning, because there are ways to get even better perks: room upgrades, free breakfast, waived fees just by showing up at the right time, saying the right words, and understanding how hotels operate from the inside. That's where we're going next. Once you've booked your hotel and gotten that sweet senior or loyalty discount, you might think the deal ends there, but it doesn't. The truth is, your opportunity to save money and upgrade your experience is only just beginning the moment you walk through that hotel lobby. See, most travelers treat check-in like a transaction. Give the ID, get the room key, head to the elevator. But the travelers who really understand how to work the system, especially those over 50 who travel often, they know that the front desk isn't just where you check in. It's where deals happen. Let's start with the most powerful tool you have at check-in: timing. Most people don't know this, but there's a sweet spot during the day when you're most likely to get a free room upgrade. And it's not right at 3 p.m. when check-in officially begins. That's when lines are long, rooms are still being cleaned, and the staff are under pressure to get people processed. But between 4:30 and 6 p.m., that's when the game changes. By that time, most of the reserved rooms have been assigned, but some premium rooms haven't been claimed yet. Maybe someone canceled. Maybe the suite wasn't booked. Either way, you're now first in line for that empty room that would otherwise stay unused. All you have to do is ask the right way. Don't demand, don't assume, just say something like, "Hi, I was wondering if there are any complimentary upgrades available tonight for senior or loyalty guests." That phrasing does three things. It lets them know you're polite. It signals that you're over 50, which hotels tend to associate with low-risk, rule-following guests. And it reminds them you might be part of their loyalty program, which they're trained to protect and reward. You'd be surprised how often you get a nod, a smile, and a better room than the one you booked. Maybe it's a corner room. Maybe it has a better view. Maybe it's just a little bigger or quieter. But that small ask can make a huge difference. In your experience, now let's talk about special occasions. Are you celebrating an anniversary, retirement trip, a birthday weekend? Tell them. Mention it casually but clearly when you check in. "We're celebrating our 30th anniversary. This weekend it's our first getaway in a while." Or, "This is my first trip since retiring last month." Hotel staff hear a lot of complaints all day. A kind, happy guest with a personal story. That's memorable. And when hotels have little perks they can offer, like a bottle of champagne, breakfast vouchers, or waived resort fees, they're far more likely to give those to someone who made a personal connection than to someone who silently shuffles to their room. You're not manipulating anyone, you're giving them a reason to treat you like a VIP. Here's another quiet trick. Join the hotel's loyalty program. Before you check in, Evan, if you've never stayed with them before, Most major chains allow same-day benefits just for signing up. That can mean free Wi-Fi, priority check-in, late checkout, or complimentary bottled water in your room. These may sound small, but they add up quickly. Plus, by joining, you're now eligible for future flash sales and member-only deals that aren't publicly visible on third-party sites. It's free, it takes 30 seconds, and it puts you in a different tier of guest one. They're more likely to go the extra mile for, now let's talk etiquette. And yes, it matters. If you treat hotel staff with warmth and patience, you stand out in all the right ways. Guests over 50 already have an edge because you're perceived as more respectful, less demanding, and more appreciative. When you ask for something, be it a late checkout, a room with a view, or just help figuring out the elevator, you'll likely be met with a smile and a little extra care. Why? Because you weren't rude. You weren't entitled. And in an industry built on service, being pleasant pays off. The other big opportunity most people miss happens when there's a problem. Maybe your room isn't ready. Maybe the AC's broken or there's construction nearby. Don't get angry, get upgraded. Calmly explain the issue and say something like, I understand these things happen. Is there another room available that might be a better fit? That phrasing gives the front desk staff permission to help you without being defensive. More often than not, you'll walk away with a better room or a small comp just because you handled it with grace. So don't just settle for what you're given. You're not a burden to the hotelier, their ideal guest. You book directly, you're polite, you stay off season, and you often spend more once you're there. So act like the valuable traveler you are. Speak up, smile, ask the right questions. You'll be amazed at how many doors that opens. Literally, the final part of your hotel savings journey happens after you check out, and this is where most travelers, even savvy ones, stop paying attention. They assume once the trip is over, the bill is final. No changes, no refunds, no more opportunities. But that's not actually true. In fact, some of the biggest money-saving moves happen once the trip is over. And if you know where to look, you can claw back real cash, sometimes hundreds of dollars with barely any effort at all. Let's start with a concept that still surprises a lot of people. Hotel price drop protection. Just because you've already booked and stayed at a hotel doesn't mean the rate didn't change. Prices fluctuate constantly. And many travelers don't realize that you can monitor those rate drops even after you've confirmed your reservation. Tools like Provo, Hopper, and even certain versions of Google Travel allow you to track your hotel booking. If the price drops before your stay, sometimes even after, you can cancel and rebook at the lower rate, or in some cases, request a refund of the difference. It's the same room, same hotel, just less money. And here's the kicker, the platforms will do it automatically. You sign up, upload your confirmation email, and they monitor the price for you in the background. If the rate dips, they let you know. It takes 5 minutes to set up and can save you hundreds. But what if the trip's already over? Can you still get something back? The answer is yes. If you had a less than perfect experience, you're in a stronger position than you think. Hotels live and die by guest satisfaction scores. If you had issues with cleanliness, noise, broken amenities, rude service, or even a long wait at check-in, you can and should share that feedback. The key is in how you do it. Don't go blasting them on social media. Instead, write a direct, polite email to the hotel's guest services department, mention your stay details, and explain what went wrong, calmly and clearly. End the message by thanking them for their time and saying you just wanted to bring it to their attention in case others had similar experiences. 9 times out of 10, you'll get more than just an apology. Hotels often respond by offering points toward future stays, partial refunds, or even free night vouchers. Why? Because a dissatisfied guest who complains politely is seen as someone they can win back. You're not yelling. You're not demanding. You're giving them a chance to make it right, and for them, the cost of giving you a $50 or $100 goodwill gesture is far less than losing you as a future customer. Here's another strategy. Review your bill carefully. Even after you've left, many hotels sneak in fees, resort charges, minibar items you didn't touch, parking charges you never used. If you spot anything unusual, call or email the billing department. Provide your reservation number, describe the issue, and politely request a correction. You'd be surprised how often incorrect charges go unnoticed and unchallenged. But the moment you speak up, they're usually fixed in minutes. Also, don't forget about travel credit cards or senior rebate programs you might already have. Cards, like Chase Sapphire, Amex Platinum, or even certain Visa and MasterCard products, offer travel protection benefits that include partial refunds, price matching, or points reimbursement for unsatisfactory stays. If your card includes trip protection or concierge services, use them. That little piece of plastic in your wallet may carry hidden powers, if you remember to ask. And finally, there's something a lot of seasoned travelers do that newer ones don't. They build a relationship. If you enjoyed your stay, email the hotel and thank a specific staff member by name. Leave a good review on Google or TripAdvisor and mention the property manager. Hotels, remember this. And when you return, you're no longer just another reservation, you're a guest they recognize. That often leads to automatic upgrades, personal notes in your room, or better treatment during your next stay. So even though your vacation might be over, your savings don't have to be. The most successful travelers treat the hotel experience like a full journey from research and booking to check-in, check-out, and follow-up. And when you're over 50, you have even more leverage because you represent a growing, loyal, high-value segment of the travel market. Hotels want you to return. They want your business. They just hope you don't realize how much power you actually have. But now you do. So the next time you're planning a trip, don't just focus on the front end. Think all the way through. Ask questions. Follow up. Review the bill. And don't be afraid to send that one extra email after check. Could be the easiest $100 you've ever saved.